All right, YouTube. Today I'm doing the timing belt on a 2001 Volkswagen Cabrio. That makes it a Mark 3.5, so you can't follow the instructions for a Mark 4, even though the Mark 4 would have been a Golf from 2001. The Cabrios remained a Mark 3, so you follow those instructions if you can. Now, on YouTube, every video explains how you set up the timing, line up the marks. See if I can show you. There, see the mark. You line up that little red notch with the arrow, and then at the bottom, you line up the crank pulley. That's easy. You can also line up that pulley right there. It's also very easy to time that. You get the belt on there, and now it's time to put on this tensioner. As you can see, I have what's known as a thermal tensioner, and that thermal tensioner comes originally on this vehicle. However, when you go to look at YouTube videos of how to put this all together, almost everybody says, don't use this type of tensioner, use the old school kind. Well, unfortunately, I already spent $120 on this, so I'm not going to use the old school kind. I'm using the one you're supposed to use. Well, then you come into this problem where there's nobody that tells you how to adjust it. So what I did was I got it all put together, and this nut, or bolt, which uses like a star wrench to tighten, that's what locks it into place in this little cradle here on this tensioner mount, I guess you would call it. But you don't tighten this until you've got a fair amount of tension on the belt. Well, how do you do that? Well, you could stick something in this hole, like a pair of needle nose, and the other part of the needle nose in this spot, and then twist it clockwise, and it'll force this thing to tighten it as much as your hand can do it. And then with your other hand, tighten this bolt down. And that's all I can figure out. There's instructions in manuals that talk about it, but I don't have the manual. And so I just tightened it as best I could. Some people say check the tension by putting your finger on this spot and just pushing it. You see, it does deflect, they call that. Not a whole lot, but there's some deflection. Other people say take your fingers and twist the belt here. If you can go past 90 degrees, it's too loose. Well, I can get it to about 90 degrees, but not a lot further. So that's my tutorial. I just wanted everybody to see some people do use the thermal tensioner because they want the right thing on their car, or they already bought it like me, and they're not about to go wasting $120 and throw that thing away and get the old school kind, which is, I don't know, another 50 bucks. So that's it, YouTube. Finally, someone posted that up, because I know if you're like me, you've been looking for some instruction on this and there just isn't any. So hopefully my video will help somebody. If you have any more questions, go ahead and ask me. I might know.